With that, I would like to call for a motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Commissioner Lamb, seconded by Commissioner Waldorf. Next, I would like to call for a motion of the adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting, which was held on Wednesday, May 11th. Okay.
I think I beat you. I'll move.
Move by Commissioner Waldorf and seconded by Commissioner Toth. Appointments and delegations, there are none in attendance today. So we will get into the new business.
Chair, real quick if I may.
Yeah.
Just a sort of a thing arising from the minutes, if you will. I think it's page 3. We had a conversation about the advertising for position of chair could be published quickly or any recommendations. I'm just wondering if we have published looking for a commission chair at this time.
My understanding, Commissioner Toth, is that we had run ads in the paper before this, and they may be out now. I don't know if and Carrie Ann or somebody in attendance can confirm.
Can confirm it.
Okay.
I believe they were scheduled to come out this Friday.
We have initiated that process.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if there's no other questions, we'll go into new business. And the first item is a verbal report on the Selma Park development, which I understand will be given by Commissioner Waldorf.
Hi. Where did it go? So phase 1 is currently underway, 44 lots, like we mentioned at the last committee meeting. There was a question about anticipated flows from that phase of the development. Oh, sorry, we're getting feedback. Somebody mute if you're not talking.
One of these computers is not.
Oh, is it me? I didn't do.
Okay, trying one more time. Sure. Okay. Sorry, we'll try that again. Phase 1, which is 44 lots, which we discussed briefly at the last meeting. There was a question on the anticipated daily flows. Phase 1 and phase 2, according to our engineers' approximations, because our maximum daily flows are anticipated to be in the neighborhood of 120 meters cubed. That's maximum wet daily flow. We're currently making good progress. We're hoping to have the lot prep and paving, sidewalks, etc., complete by November, with construction starting shortly thereafter, probably closer to the spring.
Thank you, Commissioner Waldorf. Any follow-up questions or discussion? Commissioner Lamb?
Yeah. So is 44 lots the total build-out of that subdivision, or and then if it's a phased subdivision, then what would be the next round?
Yeah. So phase 1 is 44 lots, and phase 2, which would go in above it, is another 42, for a total of 86. Sorry, my apologies. A few of those lots are slated for fourplexes and duplexes for rental housing, so they'll be a little bit more dense, but the vast majority of it is single-family homes.
Thank you. Any additional discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll go to the next agenda item, which is the flow meter installation, and I believe that will be a verbal report from the Manager of Development Engineering and Sustainability, Megan Lee. Thank you.
Thank you. So the flow meter installation had been delayed due to a work-safe compliance with the confined space plan. The consultant has...
Sorry to interrupt. If you mind just pulling the microphone a little bit closer to your...
Sorry,
Thank you.
sounds loud from here. So the installation was delayed because of a work-safe compliance issue with the confined space entry for the consultant. They have submitted a revised plan to the work-safe officer on the coast, and it's currently sitting with work-safe for approval now. When the consultant receives approval, I understand it's about a 2-day mobilization to get here to install the meters. So I would anticipate them fairly soon, but it's contingent on approval from WorkSafe. Thank you.
Any additional discussion or questions, maybe around the timing and how that's happening? Commissioner Lamb?
Yeah, my question is, so the flow from the Sechelt government, that whatever their total volume is that Bayside plus? So the two volumes combined gives you your capacity.
Yeah, the current agreement, I believe, is for 550 cubic meters, and that's meant to encompass the flows from both areas, the connection at Osprey and the connection at Wharf.
So will there be meters at both areas? Yeah.
That is correct. There'll be 3 meters total, one at Osprey, one at Wharf, and one at the hospital to deduct those flows.
Any further follow-up questions? Hearing none, the next item under new business is pipe sizing and restriction issues near Wharf and Highway 101, which I believe is a submission, page 8 through 11 of today's agenda. Is there a verbal report, Ms. Lee?
Yes, thank you. I'll just give some summary of the background of this drawing set. In around 2011, through visual inspections, it was noted that several manholes were surcharging in the segment of pipe along Inlet Avenue and Medusa. Subsequently, ISL was retained to do a design. The design was complete in 2012, recommending the replacement and upsizing of the pipe along Medusa and Wharf to accommodate the flows of the current catchment area. So that's everything that's currently going in there. And at that time, that would predate any of the new developments planned in the SIGD lands. So that recommended a 450 diameter pipe upgrade with some increased gradient for that area. Because of lack of funding, this project was not constructed. A small segment of that catchment was able to be diverted. So right now it's operating at capacity, as we discussed in the previous meeting. Adding any additional new catchment areas or new development through this segment of pipe would push it over capacity. So at this time, it would require a new capacity analysis to understand, and it's very likely that it would be larger than what was recommended in 2012 to add these new developments. So a good understanding of what proposed developments in the future may be connected through this pipe system is needed. So for reference, we've provided the 2012 drawings, but given that there are new developments in stream that may connect through here, a new analysis is required. So.
Thank you for that verbal report, Ms. Lee. Are there any additional questions or discussion? Commissioner Toth?
Thank you. Just a clarification of the one term you used, surcharging, when it comes to the manholes. I just want to hear I think I know what that is, but I'd like to hear what that is.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So a sanitary sewer is considered at capacity when it's operating at 75% of pipe full. Anything above that is over capacity. So when the manhole surcharges, in fact, the pipe is entirely full and the flow is actually rising in the manhole. And that's evident even if you don't see it at the time. It leaves basically high water marks inside the manhole. So this was evident from visual inspections at that time.
Commissioner Lamb?
Yeah, I was just wondering what kind of pipe is in the ground there?
I believe it's AC, asbestos concrete. So.
Yeah, and so how big a pipe are we going to put a 2-foot pipe in there to accommodate future development, or what are we thinking?
There are probably a couple of options, and there may be alternative routing if the flows are too great. There's conflicts, of course, with the grade. There needs to be a geotechnical analysis to understand what's down there, to know how deep, limited by the inlet and outlet of the contributing and receiving sections of pipe. So you can only go so big before, for example, you may need to twin the pipe or find an alternate route for part of the catchment. So at this time, I wouldn't be able to say how big it needs to go, and I don't know what the future development plans are to contribute to that area. So this is part of the analysis that's required before we can estimate what additional pipe size would be needed above this ISL preliminary drawing.
Just excuse me here, but the reason I laugh about the pipe that's in the ground is I helped lay that.
Commissioner Waldorf.
Sorry. Just a question. So the area identified in these drawings goes from looks like it's at inlet and then runs along Medusa to trail. Is there any issues between that and Wharf Avenue? I think I must have misunderstood the issue at hand, because originally I was expecting there to be a section of pipe between Wharf and inlet that was the restriction or the problem, like running along Dolphin. But it looks like that happens just after that, and it runs from Dolphin over to Medusa and over to inlet. That's where the area where we've got the real restriction happening?
That was the area that was identified back in 2011, 2012 for the existing catchment. Given the additional development and catchment areas proposed within the SIGD lands, I would expect that segment of pipe is undersized as well for that flow. But at this time, for what was going on in 2011, 2012, that was the critical section for replacement. But I would expect issues with a larger segment of the collection system, depending on the additional development proposed.
Any additional discussion? Commissioner Toth?
Thank you. Just a quick question. Do we know if the nation's efforts on infiltration and inflow are having any effect on any capacity issues or surcharging that might be happening through that section? I mean, if it was bad in 2011 and you guys did a bunch of upgrading recently, has that had any effect on what's going on visually on that pipe segment?
I would expect with the work that was done, that would have reduced the flow. However, at that time, because we're able to divert a segment of the catchment as well to go south to the Watermark lift station, it would be impossible to say how much was inflow and infiltration and how much was diverted to know that right now it's operating at about capacity. So it's difficult to separate those two.
Ms. Frank?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The mayor is online, and she has forwarded a question through staff, if I may ask it.
Certainly.
She's asking, she would like to know if Sechelt has any data on expected flows from the House of Clans.
Sorry, not offhand. I can bring the report that we brought to the District of Sechelt with the rough numbers from the House of Clans back to the next committee meeting.
If the commission so desires, that can be added to the next agenda when the call for agenda items goes out. House of Clans can be added and any other topic. So, if there's no, is there additional discussion on this particular item? If seeing that there's none, the final item under new business is the meeting schedule and proposed dates and times. Which is a nice, ties back nicely to the agenda item statement I made earlier. So we understand that there was a Outlook poll that was sent out to the commission on preferred dates, and we're waiting for results on that. I did not see that because I'm not a commissioner, but I assume these dates are in September, October, and November, somewhere around that time, with some perhaps alternates in there. So based on the results of that poll, we should have some idea on what the preference is. Any discussion on proposed dates and preferences of the commission? Okay, sounds like we are going to let the poll play out and dates will be selected based on that. So that brings us to the...
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering, you know, well, hopefully the meters will be installed here shortly. I know it's just an insignificant little piece, but I'm wondering if we should have a meeting, you know, maybe in September or something like that, just to, is there, what does this get? What does that thing?
Well, thank you for the question, Commissioner Lamb. So the intent, I believe, was that we historically have a August pause period with all our municipal meetings. So there was nothing that was planned for July and August. So the next meeting was likely to occur in September, and that should provide enough time to resolve this flow meter issue and hopefully even have some data by then. So it's a 2-month pause in these meetings to catch up again in fall. Commissioner Toth?
Thank you. It's just a quick one. I know it's not on the agenda, but I've seen that the RFP for the chemical storage has been released. I don't know if Commissioner Waldorf is aware of what is planned there or what's needed there, so I don't know if staff wanted to just give a 2 or 3 sentence update on what's going on with that.
We certainly can. I believe our manager of wastewater, Ms. Miller, might have an update on that.
Thank you, Chair Dillon and Commissioner Toth. Can you please repeat what you're looking for?
Yeah, I see that the RFP for the chemical storage facility is out, and I saw Commissioner Waldorf sort of shake his head, know that he wasn't sure what was going on there. So just a very brief overview of what this RFP is looking to accomplish for us. Thanks.
Yes, thank you. We're looking for 2 portable storage containers that will work to separate our major categories of chemicals to be placed on the concrete pad outside of the back of the WRC. They'll be forklift accessible and heated to follow the criteria for the chemicals that we have. And we're just waiting for quotes to come out regarding that, the design of those, the availability to provide them.
Thank you. Although we don't have a formal agenda item for Commissioner questions, perhaps that's something to consider for a future agenda. Is that possible, Ms. Frank, that we can include something in a future agenda for general questions of commissioners to staff on various subjects? And if we don't have the answer, we can circle back with a formal agenda item on that particular topic at a future meeting. Okay, one more question.
Yeah, well, it's not a question, it's just a follow-up to Ms. Miller's thing. I think one of the reasons for the storage is so that we can purchase the chemicals in a larger quantity. Is that correct? So, and I think it reduces the price, but it gives us so we have more product on hand, and so we don't have trucks coming as often because the ferries don't run as often.
Thank you, Commissioner Lamb. There's a couple of reasons why, and one of them is that just to make sure we have available chemicals for our process. And part of cost-saving measures is if we order more totes at the same time, then we cut down on our shipping costs with this, which is quite extensive here on the coast. And another is to address the work-safe issue with storing chemicals in the workshop. Those twofold. Thank you.
Okay, it appears that we are truly at the end of our meeting here, so I believe we need a motion to adjourn, is that correct? So moved by Commissioner Toth and seconded by Commissioner Lamb. Thank you very much.